Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. 2B is now out for Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising. And along with 2B coming out, there is also a patch. Now, it's not a big balance patch, although that is coming. They have posted in the news that you can expect the big balance patch coming after the Arc World Tour Finals later in March. So, not this patch, but it is going to happen. Although there is some stuff in this patch. Not the least of which, if you happen to be playing on the PlayStation 5 version, they have lowered the input delay, which is very, very good. Other things for online play, casual and ranked matches, there's now network quality indicators before you go into the match, weekly challenges, and a bunch of other stuff. I'll post the patch notes in the video description if you want to check those out. That all said though, let's talk 2B now. So 2B, due to being really busy with Tekken 8, because it's kind of a big deal, right? I didn't get to see a lot of the trailers and stuff going on for 2B, so kind of going in cold, and very impressed, mostly because they took a very big risk in making her completely different than everyone else in this game, because she plays like a character that isn't from this game. And I know you're already saying, well, rooflemonger, of course, she is not from this game. She's from Soul Calibur. And to that I say, hey, you're technically correct, which is absolutely the best kind of correct. But what do I mean when she's not from this game? Well, like little things like, hey, big buttons, right? Sure, cool. She does not have traditional, mash, light, medium, heavy chains. She has like her own multi-chain system where depending on what buttons you press, you get different outcomes and different endings. So you can be very freeform with that, and not the least of which, you can have like a little projectile game. If you hold the button correctly, you can swing the robot arm, whatever that is, into the enemy. That's pretty cool. But besides that, no proximity attacks. There's no close normals. Her normals are her normals, end of story. Doesn't matter how close, how far. No close proximity normals. And no running normals. So, 6XL, run light. Which maybe that balance patch in March will change up a little bit. Hey, who knows, right? But one of the more impressive tools in the game, the run light, she can't do it. Now, obviously enough, there's a lot of strengths to compensate for a lot of this weirdness, right? One, there is no scaled cooldowns at all. So she has a Nier Automata styled skill bar, and many of your attacks will use up some of that bar. Some more, some less, all depends on the move. But these are assuredly very powerful attacks. She is definitely a rush down / oppression character. Her ability to control both the opponent's movements, their turns, the amount of plus frames she can put out, the amount of frame traps she can put out is very strong. And the skill meter is the governor behind that, because you can't just do these moves whenever you want, right? Like, you can do it a bit till you run out of juice, and then you got to refill the skill bar, which will refill over time. Other things, she doesn't really have much in the way of invincible reversals. So if you want invincible reversal, it's going to take some of your skill gauge and half your meter. And admittedly, it's good range. It's full invincible. Like, the invincible reversal she has is good, but it's not just like you burn the cooldown on the EX version, you're done, you're good to go, right? You have to commit a lot more resources. But let's talk some of the things I think are very exceptional about the character. One, the normals. So we mentioned how she has a lot of unique chains, because you don't just go heavy, light, medium, right? You actually mix and match, and your moveset will change accordingly. And she's like Anila in that she has the 2H of the gods. So jumping against 2B is not something I would recommend with this absolutely monstrous normal. Any jump, they hit any button, they're absolutely getting counter hit into whatever combo you can dream up. Other weird things, she has double jumps. And not only does she have double jumps, she has slow fall. So this is her skill button in the air, and literally it's just like Nier Automata. If you played it, you can slow your fall as you're coming down. So her ability just to move around in the air is a good deal better than the rest of the cast, just because of these options. Not the least of which also is she has the Nier style of dodge. So this is just hitting your skill button on the ground, and you see here it says parry every time, right? So if you parry a move, just like Nier Automata, just like Bayonetta as well, I guess same deal here. It's kind of split into two, and you can do a follow-up. Just hit your unique button again and go from there. Or if you don't want to, you can just recover in place and go with whatever. If you caught a particularly slow move, you can get a much better punish. But I guess we're burying the lead here, so I know how YouTube works, all right? Got to keep up that engagement. We're getting into the video. We're a few minutes in. How do I keep your user engagement up? Well, 2B's got away. So self-destruct is her super skybound art. And self-destruct, once it's done, she will blow her pants off. Just like in Nier Automata. So if you're looking for a more cheeky version of 2B to play as, you have this. Now here's the thing. Self-destruct, what's in the name's in the name, right? So if you do not kill the opponent with self-destruct, you will automatically lose the round. In training mode, it's whatever, but it has some effect on some of your moves. Like say, let's take her super skybound art, right? So a very elaborate animation, very good too. Straight out of Nier Automata, right? Good stuff. Looks good. What can I say, right? Looks good. But I know you're there at home like, oh, rooflemonger, I can make it look better. And sure enough, once your pants are sort of missing, a lot of your other moves will keep those changes in mind, right? Your wardrobe change will be reflected in what you're seeing on screen. So for some people, that's a selling point. So hey, there you go. But just talk some of the moveset. So her series of specials is just quarter circle forward, light, medium, heavy, quarter circle back, light, medium, heavy, and down, down, light, medium, heavy. And they're all pretty good. Like very little's free. Quarter circle forward L, machine gun shot here from the drone, that is free. Quarter circle forward B is just a true beam projectile, like effectively no travel time. So that's always been very welcome. Quarter circle forward heavy is a very nasty move here. Multiple rockets, very advantaged on block. Even point blank, it's +4. It takes a good chunk of the skill meter, so it's not free, right? But this is kind of leading into her oppressiveness. You can just kind of bully here, right? Like, just gonna hit buttons here. Is it my turn? Is it your turn? Eventually, when you get pushed out, you can kind of just toss this bad boy out. And if they hit a button, easy launch. Don't even need a counter hit or anything. If you get the tap in, if you're anywhere near the corner, and there you go. So that's just kind of a basic example, right? The alley-oop we talked about here, where you can kind of swing for the fences there, is actually really good for combos too, because if you get it correctly, it wall bounces the enemy. So there's actually a really strong case use for this move, besides just it's cool and silly. Quarter circle back series is great as well. We have basically just like a big old like stars and stripes style of charge. And if you space it, it's safe-ish. At least outside of jab range. So if you just want to bully your way in, that's really good. Very light on the skill usage. And then we have effectively like a reverse scorpion spear. So this is quarter circle back medium. And just tethers you to the opponent and just brings you right on in. And even point blank, it's always going to be plus. So you just want to mash and go nuts, it works, right? Once again, lots of plus frames, lots of aggressiveness from this character. Quarter circle back and heavy, big old hammer, and it has a bit of a sweet spot to it, which is interesting here. So say here, when I hit with the actual edge of the hammer, it bounces the enemy. But if I hit them close up, it'll just knock them back a bit. So your positioning actually does matter a fair bit on this. It's the same on block, point blank, -6. But with the sweet spot of the hammer, it's +6 and also does not knock them back at all. So sweet spot mechanic, not bad. That's actually kind of interesting. And the down-down series, down-down light, is pod smash, and you just whip the pod at the enemy, and it's always going to be plus. It's effectively always going to be plus. So it's just a really good way if you're like scamming with various strings to just kind of force, okay, if you're not too fast, I can just make sure it's my turn, it's my turn, my turn. Down-down medium is a ridiculous way to control the enemy's movement. So they're going to do it to me here, right? And notice here, I'm walking forward, I'm walking backwards. I ain't going anywhere. So this move is basically like a gravity well. Like you can try to escape, and it can be mildly difficult. Now, the easy way out is simply hit the enemy. Hit the enemy, even if they block, it goes away. So it's not like a guaranteed lockdown. But anything to control opponents' movements is always very valuable in a fighting game, I find. And speaking of which, last one here, down, down, heavy. So this looks pretty dire, right? Like all this nonsense is facing you. So the initial call does nothing in and of itself, but if you hit down, down, heavy again, then it goes off. And you control how that's going to go, right? So if you have it up here, you're so inclined, you absolutely can do it in the middle of a combo and keep combo ability going. Or say, you know, they're blocking your block string. Much the same here. You can just cash out. Okay, I don't want to deal with the block string anymore, but I still want it to be my turn. And all of a sudden, after 3 heavies, you cash out on it, and hey, it's still your turn. You're still going to be +6, right? So another in the chain of you control their turn. It's going to be your turn over and over and over as long as you have the skill meter to burn. So once again, a very aggressive character in my findings. Haven't had time to like lab out all the cool scenarios because, you know, Tekken's a thing, right? But just on its face, just the tools you're given, like a lot should be possible. I'm not here to call tiers or anything because Lord knows today's top tier is tomorrow's bottom tier, right? But on its face, a lot of this seems really good. A lot of non-standard movement. I'm sure people will figure out like slow fall gimmicks when it comes to like high-low mix, like empty jump low or, oh, no empty jump, but then I slow fall and hit you in the head. I'm sure there's going to be stuff with that, right? The fact that everything she does mostly ensures it's going to be your turn over and over and over, at least until you run out of the skill gauge. And the fact that she has a lot of really good, I don't want to call it game, it's not gameplay, but like really good callback stuff. Nier Automata is one of my favorite games of all time. And let me show you something really cool.
Activating short-range attack gear. Alert. Large enemy group detected.
That much is obvious.
Huh? What? Hold up. We just met 2B, and she wants to mash up our potatoes?
No choice, bros. Y'all ready to cross this over or what?
Become as gods. Become as gods.
Become as gods.
Become as gods.
Today's first victory. Let's keep it up.
I have come to the conclusion that I cannot accept this resolution.
So just lots of nice little references on top of what's in the game. There's a lot of love in here, and that's when you're doing the guest character, that's what I really appreciate, right? When you go the extra mile for the fans of whatever game the guest character may come from, they did exactly that here. So thumbs up. I really like 2B so far in Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising. So that said, though, that's just some of my impressions, right? This is not a review, this is not a guide, assuredly. But so far, just mess around with the character a little bit. I think she's pretty cool, and I enjoy it. So that said, if this looks cool, why don't you give 2B a spin yourself in Granblue? That all said, I guess we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Granblue.